Hi, welcome. It's Linda. Glad to have you here with me. We're back with our Razzel-Dazzle owls, and it's time to stitch them and and if we want to add more embellishments, we can do that too. We're going to start stitching this one in this color, and so let me thread up a needle and we'll get into that. So did you make a Razzel-Dazzle something yet? Doesn't have to be an owl, maybe a bird, just whatever strikes your fancy. Just Razzel-Dazzle up something and play along with me in these videos. I love these owls. I just they have so much character, and I get connected to them really easily. I'm refraining from naming them because once you give them a name, oh my, they do come alive. And so I'm not going to name these because I don't want to get too attached to them. But, you know, I may not be able to withstand the temptation. I may have to do it sooner or later, but anyway, we're going to just call them Razzel-Dazzle owls for the moment. And of course they're Razzel-Dazzle because we're embellishing them as much as we like and as much as they like. Okay, if you remember, we just have a simple background piece, okay? Now, if you were to put this in a junk journal, as I said earlier, once you get it done, you can sew a piece of cardstock on or glue a piece of cardstock on, and then it's easy to put into a junk journal. But right now, we're just simply going to get our elements stitched on here. And this is fun because if I want and I like it, or if they want more, I can always add more embellishments, and I do love to embellish. Oh my. This one is having a bad hair day. I know what that's like. The other morning I got up and half my hair was pointed in one direction and half of it was pointed in the other. That was interesting because one half didn't want to do nothing else. So I fought with that all day long. Finally had to just get in the shower, take a shower, and start all over again. I love these eyelash yarns. They work so well for anything in the fiber arts or embellishment area because they can become just about anything. I use them a lot in landscapes because, of course, if you get the right colors and texture and length and all that, then you've got grasses and undergrowth and foliage and all kinds of good things out of this eyelash trim. I love bits and pieces of yarns that came off of something, maybe it was a collar, a sleeve, maybe a scarf. After a while you can't remember where you get all the little pieces, but anyway, you collect them and sooner or later you use them. This little peachy piece is like that. I don't have much of it left and I'm really going to miss it. This is what it's like. I believe that was a scarf. What I love about it is I can use this part when I want to blend the colors, then I can use a solid like I am now when I just need that color. And I'm about to run out of that, and I'm not going to be happy when I do, because it has really worked in so many projects. As you probably already know, I have an Etsy shop, and I create a lot of slow stitch kits. And so you're always looking for embellishments and laces and things that lend itself to several projects, not just one. And this one has been used quite extensively. I like it, I like it. Of course, this is the eyelash trim is its little hairy, feathery, bushy look, but this is its little hat. And don't say it don't look like a hat, because you'll hurt her feelings. She loves this hat. It even had a feather sticking out of it. So of course we had to use it. You're noticing I'm simply using straight stitches, nothing fancy, just stitching. When I'm designing and things are in the rough, it's not always easy to say, well, that's exactly what I want. That's why I always say, if you need to embellish more while you're stitching, do it. If you need to take something off and move it, do it. Nothing is written in stone here, or set in concrete, I should say. Would definitely say that these little owls are done in a bohemian style, big free-spirited style, just anything goes. Because they are fanciful, nothing has to be exact. I mean, look at those eyes. They don't match, but they're cute. And because it's fanciful, it works. If you start trying to make this perfect and everything match and it looks like reality, well, then you lose the fanciful look. So you got to decide, which one do you want? Do I want a case of reality, or do I want a fanciful little owl? And for me, these Razzel-Dazzel owls need to be fanciful. And that works perfect for using our scraps. Okay, let's go down here and catch this nose. Get him on, and then we don't have to worry about him anymore. He won't fall off. I need a sharp needle because you're going through several layers, depending on how much embellishment you put on here. Again, this is not really a project for fancy embroidery. The stitching is not the focal point. It's the embellishment and the design that's the focal point. So your stitching is utilitarian. It does add texture, which we all love, but it's not the thing. In other words, people aren't looking at something like this to look at the beautiful embroidery stitches. Now, that doesn't mean that if you wanted to add something let's say you want to add an embellishment on her skirt area here. Well, you could do that. You could put a beautiful embroidery motif there. That would be fine. But if you do it all over, you're going to lose the embroidery for one thing, because it's fighting with all the embellishment. And it won't come out looking like you probably have in your mind that beautiful stitch that you got in mind is going to look. At least that's what I've learned over the years. Now, you may disagree with me, and that's okay. But some of you who have a lot of experience might put a comment about how you feel about that and what works for you, and so that everyone can learn from everyone else. My nose is just about stitched. Get him on here. Okay. I probably need to load up this needle again before I lose my thread out of it. Let's get, I have one loaded here in a cream. Let's just, I pulled it out. Well, never mind that. We'll go back to our color we were using. Let's find it. Here it is. Okay. There we go. That one went too easy. Something's wrong. You know, the older I get, the arthritis in my hands, it's harder and harder to roll a knot in a thread. You wouldn't think so, but it is. Okay, now while I'm looking at this, while I'm stitching, I'm thinking, this area here just needs something. It's one of them cases where I think it needs a little more embellishment. What shall we put in it? That will do. Let's put a little bit of decorative yarn in there. It's just too much plain for the type of piece we're doing. We just need to embellish the embellishment. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't have to be too much, just a little something to break up a large plain space. Now, sometimes large and plain is okay, but for instance, like this bottom part down here, it's large and plain, you might say, but actually it's not. Look at all the shapes and the texture that's in this lace. And then we're going to do some outline stitching too. So there's large and plain, and then there's large and plain. So we have to decide what are we dealing with. But if it's an area that bothers you, that speaks to you and says, look, this ain't right. I'm too plain. I'm not filled in right, or whatever it says. Listen to it and do something about it. And usually when there's a problem, I have found over the years that if there's something that keeps bothering me and I don't like it, it's because I haven't done enough. I need to do more of something. And add more, stitch more. I need to do something. And that usually will fix it. Okay. Now when I look at that, That doesn't jump out at me, and I'm happy with that. Come right back down it, get over here to this other ear area. Oops, I got a little bit of a, there it is, came out there, that's good. And you noticed how things are fraying as I'm working on them? And that's good. That's exactly what I want. If I could do that for real to start with, I would. But sometimes some of the just natural stuff this stuff does is great. And so when things fray or texture up for you, don't try to fix it if you're going for this free-spirited boho style look. Let it be. Let it be shabby, let it be raggy, let it be scrappy. For this look, in other words, if you like my style, if you like what I do, then those are tips that I give you so that you know how I get there. And I appreciate when artisans tell me, you know, their thought process and how they get where they are, because it helps me to understand how I might be able to duplicate that in some way. And when I really appreciate their style and want to try something in it. Okay, let's get that out of there. Oh, isn't she cute? Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. She's got such an adorable hat. I love that. Okay, we got her nose on. Let's go down here and secure one of her eyes. And of course, while we're doing the nose and eyes, we are tacking on that solid piece that we put in the back on the first video, behind the eyes, that were a base for the eyes. Let me take that off. We'll tack that back on here in a minute. Boy, nothing like yanking out a little owl's pupils. Okay, don't worry, darling. I'll put it back. You don't want your Razzel-Dazzel to lose it because I pulled out your eyeball. Goodness. Okay, here we go. Around and around we go. Okay, let's put the eye back on there. And I think what I'm going to do on this eye, let's see if it works. Quit catching things. It's going to give me a slit in that eye. Can hear if you hear something in the background, power tool is, I believe my husband's out there blowing leaves. We have a lot of oak trees and a lot of pine trees around us, so we have lots of pine straw and oak leaves. Okay, we have a little eye there. Okay. So we could just tack this little piece while we're here. Make sure nothing gets left undone. And I have I love it when I pull the pins out because I get stuck all the time. Sometimes I forget where they are. I cover them up and I have to hunt them down. Okay. I like that. Let's go to the bottom and do the same thing. I'll be making one more video on these Razzel-Dazzel owls. I will be doing some work off camera so that I can finish the second one for you on camera in my next video. And so you've got plenty of time to grab some scraps, make a Razzel-Dazzel owl of your own, and stitch along with me in the next video. Whoops, I caught some hangover there. I think I'll catch this little eyeball before I move on. Since it's a whoppy doodle to start with, I'm going to leave it whoppy doodled, and I'm going to doodle whoppy it to make it right, which means I'm going to make it different from the other one. I'm going to put a French knot in the middle of this one. Wrap it 4 times so it's big enough. Bring it through. Well, that's a crazy looking owl. I love that owl. All right. Now that secures that eyeball fabric too for me, so that's good. I can just go ahead and stitch around it quickly. In a lot of my videos, if you've watched very many of them, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of earth-shattering news to share or anything like that. I just visit with you like you're here and sitting next to me, and I just talk away. But it's really designed for you to be able to grab your own projects and to be stitching along while I'm stitching. And that's fun. I love thinking that a lot of you out there are sitting there with your needles doing your stitching while I'm stitching here. What a sense of community that is. I love it. Okay, we have our 2 eyeballs secured. She has a messy back, but we won't let anybody see that. No, I promised her nobody would see this. Uh-oh. Well, you guys won't tell anybody, will you? Okay. Oh. So, there we go. She's coming on. And I just love that once you get the stitching down and get all these pins and things out of the way, it just starts coming together so good. I just love it. I just love it. Do you love it? Let me know. Okay. I'll make one more video. I'll complete this one off camera, And I'll get a good ways into this one so that I can finish it on camera for you, show you any embellishments that I added or took away as I went along. And we'll finish this Razzel-Dazzel project next time. Okay? Till I see you again, you guys stay scrap happy.